Marriage Story is directed by Noah Baumbach, and it should be called Divorce Story because that's essentially what it is about. We follow a couple played by Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson who is getting a divorce, and we basically see what that process is like. Now, I'm actually not too familiar with Noah Baumbach as a director. This is probably the first film I've seen of his, to my knowledge, and I was blown out of the water by it. I think he's a fantastic director. I couldn't believe the amount of realism that went into this project, and from what I understand, he bases this off real experiences of his, so I don't know if he went through a divorce and that's why he was able to capture this so very well. In retrospect, I can understand why it's called Marriage Story, but I really think that Divorce Story would also be a fitting title for the film. Maybe not the best, and I understand the artistic decision to go with the title Marriage Story, especially after seeing the film. But I do recommend this to, honestly, anybody who's an adult, anyway. There's some really heavy subject matter in here. It can be very dramatic and very hard. But Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson are incredible in this movie, especially Adam Driver. Not to throw Scarlett Johansson under the bus, is actually might even be her career best performance as far as, you know, what I've seen of hers. I did like her quite a bit, but she added such a depth of realism to this character, and you could tell that both actors were very passionate about doing this project, and it was such a joy to watch through the funny moments, through the dramatic moments, and everything else. The way that, Baumbach chose his camera angles also helped to add that sense of realism. He actually is a master behind the camera. You could definitely tell. And I enjoyed watching him work as a director. You know, the actors turned in great performances, but this was a director's job in a lot of ways. And film is a director's medium, and this is a shining example of why, because if it wasn't for the way that he set up these camera angles, then this film would have lost the sense of reality that was within it. Along with the performances, of course, I'm not discrediting those at all. Julie Haggerty is in this film, and I don't know that she was cast properly. I understood what they were going for with it, and I understood why she was cast, but I just don't think it worked on the screen. On paper, I can understand it, so I don't know if she actually went in to read for this role, or if they just picked her. They handpicked her, I get it, because it was definitely something that probably sounded like a great idea to cast her on paper, but if she auditioned, then I just think that she was very miscast, and I don't think her tone added a lot to the realism of the film. So anytime she was on screen, I was taken out of it. I think she's a great actress in other things. This film, I just didn't find her to be cast properly for, but I think that she was doing the best job that she could, and probably the way that she was, directed to act. And she did give up her best performance, I think, in this film, but it wasn't proper for the tone. There are cast members in this film that do add to the tone in a much stronger way. She unfortunately just wasn't one of them, so I will just get that issue with the film out of the way. Every so often she would make me laugh, but I did feel like I was in a different movie when she was on screen. As far as the score for the film goes, I would like to give it more credit, but it's hardly ever present, and that's perfectly fine. I think that it's there where it needs to be there. I do think it is good, very good, when it's there. It's hard to, credit a score that's hardly there, but it's a very good score when it is in the film, and it fits the tone of the film perfectly. I just don't think that this is a film that needed a big bombastic score, and luckily it didn't. It's just hard to really, talk about a score that was lacking in a good way. On top of the amazing directing, as far as like camera angles and things go, the film's edited perfectly. Cinematography is also on point for what it needs to be. Gives you the real raw feeling when you're watching it. I thought the aspect ratio that they decided to go in for the film was also great, and I enjoyed that quite a bit. Like I said, Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson give real raw performances. They are some of the rawest performances I think I've ever seen, and I recommend the film just based on that, because what they did in this film together was unbelievable. And this is a movie that needs to be seen by many. If you've been through a divorce, you'll probably relate to it even more. It might be a tougher watch for you, but I think that it's definitely still worth going to, just so you can see the incredible work that was put on screen by Noah Baumbach here and these performers. Laura Dern also did a very good job in this movie. I've come to expect great things from Laura Dern because of, things like Big Little Lies. I enjoyed her in Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. I also loved her in Jurassic Park, of course, back in the day, but she's just been doing great work lately, and here she plays a lawyer, and she does a fantastic job with it. And there are times where she makes me laugh, and I think that she really added something to the tone of the movie. She kind of gave just a different perspective of a character to it. You're kind of looking at the perspective of a outsider when she's on screen, and I think that really works for the tone of the film, because you're not just stuck with these two people who are depressed a lot of the time. Ray Liotta is also in this film, and I honestly gotta say, this is the best I've seen from Ray Liotta since Goodfellas. I thought he gave a fantastic performance. He's quite funny a lot of the time, and I think he's a very good comic relief, but he's also very serious, and I think he's sometimes so serious that it becomes funny, and I love that about it. All the humor, with the exception of, Julie Haggerty's character, was very organic, and there's a lot of organic humor, and I credit the film for that very much. So outside of a couple very minor issues, this film is almost perfection. It's almost a masterpiece. It really did do a great job achieving what it was trying to do. As far as what it was trying to do, it did it, and I give it a lot of credit for that. That's hard to do in today's industry. So guys, at the end of the day, Marriage Story was a blast to watch in a weird way, in a very raw and real way. Definitely was kind of like an out-of-body experience where I was just with these characters for a lot of the time, and I'm going to go ahead and give this film an A. Guys, I've been Don Martino. This has been a review of Marriage Story. Please leave your comments in the feedback section. I do appreciate that very much. I'll also be leaving my Twitter and Instagram in the description below, so be sure to follow me there, and hit that subscribe button below, hit the like button. It really helps support the content, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.